discuss pharmacology of vitamin K. Vitamin K is a coagulant. Vitamin K is a fat-soluble vitamin required for the synthesis of clotting factors, namely prothrombin, clotting factor 7, 9 and 10. Now let's talk about the physiological functions of vitamin K. Now there are few essentially biologically inactive or non-functional proteins with glutamate residue. Now these proteins are synthesized in the liver, or these clotting factors are synthesized in the liver. Now vitamin K is required for the activity or for the functioning of these proteins. That means vitamin K is required for the functioning of these coagulation factors. Now all these proteins, they possess a glutamate residue, and that glutamate residue possess one carboxyl group. Now vitamin K, it catalyzes the gamma carboxylation of these glutamate residues, so that there is addition of one more carboxyl group to each protein. Now addition of one more carboxyl group make these proteins functional. So vitamin K is required for the functioning of these proteins. Now these proteins are the coagulation proteins which are required for the process of coagulation, namely prothrombin, clotting factor 7, 9 and 10. Now these coagulation proteins, synthesis of these coagulation proteins prevent hemorrhage. Then second category of proteins are the anticoagulation proteins, namely the proteins C, S and Z. Now functioning of these proteins also require vitamin K. Now these proteins prevent the process of formation of thrombus in the body. They prevent the process of thrombosis. Then there is a bone protein called as osteocalcin, and vitamin K is required again for the functioning of this protein, and vitamin K therefore increases the bone density and it reduces the risk of osteoporosis. Then another protein is the matrix GLA protein. This protein is present in the arterial walls, and functioning of this protein inhibits vascular calcification. That means inhibits the process of deposition of calcium in the arterial walls. So this protein is required for the process of inhibition of vascular calcification, and this increases the elasticity and also improves the functioning of the heart. Now let's talk about types of vitamin K. Vitamin K is of two types: naturally occurring vitamin K and synthetic vitamin K. Now naturally occurring vitamin K is of two types: vitamin K1, also called as phyloquinone, and vitamin K2, also called as menaquinone. Now phyloquinone is a fat soluble vitamin, and phyloquinone is obtained from green leafy vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, spinach and spring onions. Now plant oils like canola oil and olive oil also contain a good quantity of vitamin K1, that is phyloquinone. Now vitamin K2, that is a menaquinone, it is a fat soluble vitamin, and menaquinone is synthesized by intestinal bacteria. Animal sources of menaquinone are liver, egg, beef and pork, and it is also obtained from the fermented foods like cheese and curd. Now when we talk about the synthetic vitamin K, it is vitamin K3, also called as a menadione. Menadione is a fat soluble vitamin. Now water soluble derivatives of menadione are menadione sodium bisulfite and menadione sodium diphosphate. Now let's talk about the function of vitamin K. Vitamin K is an essential cofactor. It is required for the post-translational modification of hepatic blood plasma proteins or the clotting factors, namely prothrombin, clotting factor 7, 9 and 10. Now actually when these clotting factors are synthesized in the liver, they are synthesized as non-functional proteins. Now following their translation or following their synthesis in the liver, these proteins are modified. They are carboxylated in the presence of vitamin K. Now this addition of one more carboxylic group to these proteins make them functional. Now how it happens, let's see to the reaction. Now this is a structure. The structure represents structure of a non-functional protein that is synthesized in the liver. That is the proteins are prothrombin or the clotting factor 7, 9 and 10. Now these proteins, when they are synthesized in the liver, they possess a glutamate residue. Now this glutamate residue has one carboxylic group. Now these proteins are called as a GLU. These are termed as GLU. Now these proteins, they undergo post-translational modification, that is modification modification after they are synthesized in the liver. Now this modification is mediated by the cofactor, that is vitamin K, by the enzyme gamma glutamyl carboxylase. So in the presence of this enzyme, that is a gamma glutamyl carboxylase and vitamin K as a cofactor, there is addition of one more carboxylic group. So addition of one more carboxylic group makes this protein or make these clotting factors functional. Now as we can see here, there are two negative charges, and because of these two negative charges, now this glutamate residue with one more carboxylic group, that is termed as GLA. Now these proteins or these clotting factors, now they have become functional. Now they can bind to the calcium. Now being negatively charged, GLA proteins, they bind to the calcium, and this calcium, it further binds to the negatively charged phospholipid membrane of the platelets, which is essential for the process of coagulation. So this is how this post-translational modification of these proteins by the cofactor vitamin K makes them functional. So vitamin K is required for the functioning or for the synthesis of clotting factor, prothrombin, then clotting factor 7, 9 and 10. Now let's understand the metabolic redox cycle of vitamin K. Now the dietary vitamin, that is the vitamin K that is obtained from the diet, it is in the quinone form, it is the oxidized vitamin K. Oxidized vitamin K is inactive. This oxidized vitamin K, it cannot function as a cofactor. So this oxidized vitamin K in the body is reduced to reduce vitamin K or the hydroquinone form of vitamin A by the enzyme called as a quinone reductase. And quinone reductase is NADPH dependent enzyme. Now very important to notice this, that it is the hydroquinone or the reduced vitamin K, which is the active vitamin K. This is the vitamin K that mediates the post-translational modification of clotting factors in the liver. Now let's see the role of this reduced vitamin K, how it is useful. Now the clotting factors or the proteins are synthesized in the liver with the glutamate residue. Now these glutamate residues, they possess one carboxylic group and these are non-functional. So that means in the liver, non-functional coagulation factors, namely prothrombin, clotting factor 7, 9 and 10 are synthesized, and all these proteins or the clotting factors, they possess a glutamate residue, and the glutamate residue possess one carboxylic group. Now in order to make these clotting factors functional, one more carboxylic group should be added. Now this addition of one more carboxylic group is mediated by an enzyme called as a gamma glutamyl carboxylase. Apart from this, during this reaction, vitamin K is very essential. During this reaction, it is the hydroquinone form or the reduced vitamin K that acts as a cofactor. Now, this enzyme, in the presence of cofactor, that is reduced vitamin K, it carboxylates these proteins with a glutamate residue, and what we get are the gamma carboxylated protein. Now these gamma carboxylated protein with a glutamate residue, they possess two carboxylic group, and because of which they become functional. So for the functioning of for the synthesis of functional prothrombin, for the synthesis of functional clotting factor 7, 9 and 10, an enzyme called as a gamma glutamyl carboxylase is essential. And apart from that, during this reaction, reduced vitamin K or the hydroquinone form of vitamin K acts as a cofactor. So once these proteins or the clotting factors, they are gamma carboxylated, during this process, it is a reduced form of vitamin K or the hydroquinone form of vitamin K that gets converted to the oxidized form. Now vitamin K, it gets converted to the vitamin K epoxide form. And this vitamin K epoxide, it is the oxidized vitamin K, it is inactive. And therefore, it is further converted into quinone form by the enzyme vitamin K epoxide reductase. And this quinone form is further converted into the hydroquinone form or the reduced vitamin K by the enzyme called as a quinone reductase. And it is a hydroquinone form of vitamin K which is functional, which acts as a cofactor, which is required for the synthesis of functional clotting factors, namely prothrombin, clotting factor 7, 9 and 10 in the liver. And that's how vitamin K is very essential for the synthesis of clotting factor, prothrombin, clotting factor 7, 9 and 10. Now let's talk about the utilization of vitamin K. Now, fat-soluble forms of vitamin K are absorbed from intestine via the lymph. Bile salts are required for the absorption of fat-soluble vitamin K. Water-soluble forms of vitamin K are absorbed directly into the portal blood. Vitamin K is metabolized in the liver, and metabolites are excreted in bile and also in the urine. Now, administration of vitamin K. Vitamin K is available as injectable as well as in the form of oral formulation. Injections can be administered IV, that is intravenous, intramuscular and subcutaneous. Now IV route, that is the intravenous route, is not preferred because of the risk of anaphylaxis. Now uses of vitamin K. Vitamin K is used in treating bleeding due to vitamin K deficiency. It is also administered in obstructive jaundice with the hemorrhagic symptoms. Then it is also administered in salicylate poisoning with hemorrhagic complications. Now prolonged high doses of salicylate therapy causes hypoprothrombinemia. So administration of vitamin K is very essential. Vitamin K is very useful in controlling bleeding in oral anticoagulant therapy. And it is also administered to neonates in order to prevent bleeding, as the synthesis of vitamin K is not developed in the neonates. Now coming to the adverse effects of vitamin K, adverse effects are not common. Phylloquinone and menaquinone are relatively non-toxic. Intravenous administration can cause the risk of anaphylaxis, and therefore IV route is not preferred. Menadione and its derivatives, they exhibit poor efficacy and high toxicity. They can cause hemolysis in a dose dependent manner, and they can also produce kernicterus in neonates. So this is all about the pharmacology of vitamin K. If you find this video helpful, kindly like, subscribe and share this video. You can ask your questions or your doubts in the comment section. And thanks for watching the video.